Hello, welcome to the Opinionistics. I'm your host, John Mayalone. In this episode, no co-host, cause reasons, as always. Introducing from Las Vegas, Michael Unbroken.
What's up, man? How are you today?
Great. So, what is it that you do for a living?
So I work with people, helping them to end self doubt and to ultimately become the hero of their own story. I work with people who had significant childhood trauma and abuse and teach them how to learn how to love themselves, get unstuck, and ultimately pursue the life that they want to have.
Wow, that's great. And what was it that encouraged you to go down this path?
Um, in all reality, what's really interesting is like it wasn't something that I had any thought about doing. It just happened one day. I'm a writer first, right, by nature, and I was writing and people were reaching out to me asking me if I would help them. And my answer affectionately was constantly no. I can't help you. I can barely help myself. Um and fast forward to, I mean, gosh, 8 years later, I've coached thousands of people and I've been able to help millions through the podcast and tens of thousands of books and it just happened because it was supposed to.
Hmm. All right then. What was life for you growing up?
Um Incredibly difficult to say the least. One of the things that I always try to tell people um is don't compare your story to mine. I think that a lot of people will look at my journey and they'll go, "Oh, well, that guy went through so much or this and that." And they go, "Well, my life wasn't so bad." So I like to preface this and say that. Um, I mean, I grew up in a very chaotic household. Mother was a drug addict and alcoholic, schizophrenic, bipolar, in and out of institutions, in and out of rehabs. My my stepdad was incredibly abusive and I spent the majority of my childhood homeless. And I lived with over 30 different families between 8 to 12 years old. And a lot of my life was in the streets doing what it was that I had to do to survive. And, by the time that I was 12 years old, I was getting high every day. I was drinking every day. I got kicked out of school twice. And eventually I didn't graduate high school and I found myself in this really precarious situation of just trying to navigate the world, not really understanding that there was so much opportunity and potential in front of me, even though I had been through so much. And that amount of trauma is something that most people get trapped in. And I did too. So by the time that I was 25, 26. I mean, I had made almost $1 million working in corporate America and I'd built a career and I was 350 pounds, smoking 2 packs a day, drinking myself to sleep. I was high from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed. And, my life was a complete disaster. And it was all because of that childhood. And it wasn't until a real rock bottom that I decided to change my life. And so all of those childhood experiences, it kind of drove me to where I am today.
Wow, that that really got me, honestly. I'm so sorry for you to go through that. But I'm glad that you've managed to pick yourself back up and make a difference in this world.
Yeah. Look, and here's the truth. And I know this isn't always believable. And I think people often will feel like I'm somehow special or figured something out. But I will tell you the truth. Anybody can do this. Anybody can change their life and you are always just one decision away from having a completely different experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Because no matter what, you never know where life's gonna go unless, well, you make whatever choices you made.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, is there anything that you're currently working on or in the process of doing at the moment?
I mean, always. It's funny. I got up this morning, 5 a.m. to go speak at an event, and then go and live my life, do the things I need to do, and hop on this conversation with you. I mean, there's always things to do. The mission and the message is always the number one thing that I'm trying to spend my time on. And so being able to, coach people across the world, working a lot with men. I'm working on writing my next book. My own podcast, Think Unbroken. There's always work to be done. There's so much about the education and about giving people the tools and teaching them how to overcome these things. I'm so driven towards where it really is just this consummate pursuit where every single day I'm pushing myself forward to be great. And my greatness here's what I think about. It's like because of my effort and my energy, I get to watch generationally my family change. I get to watch my friends change. I get to watch my community change.
Yeah, indeed. Would you sleep on the wall or sleep on the ceiling?
Never been asked that before. Um, and now my analytical brain is like going through this scenario. I mean, probably the ceiling. I mean, it feels to me like that'd be the most optimal place.
Oh, yes. And all the floor space too.
Yeah, I would go with that. That seems optimal.
Yes, absolutely. What is your favorite kind of dessert?
Uh, Not really a dessert guy anymore. I used to be very overweight. I was about 150 pounds overweight, like 70 kilos overweight, basically. And and I love gummy bears. Like it's like my favorite thing in the world. Um, and so if I can have that, it's the best. But I try not to ever do that. It's so bad for you, and I just don't want to be fat again. I've done too much work.
You know what? Fair enough. I'm glad you managed to, yeah, exactly. I can't put into words. It's as good as it sounds, actually. So, yeah,
Hmm.
good for you. If you had a song for every time you entered the room, what song would that be?
Mm, really putting some thought into this. Um, there's an amazing song that I love by Jay Z called "Allure," and it would probably be that. Or can I do 2? Can I pick another one?
Yeah, sure.
I would have to say, oh man, this is so tough. But there's another one that I think about all the time, and I'd probably have to go with a classic and do like Queen, um, Show Must Go On. That would be the other option.
Ah, all right then. Would you rather be really hot or really cold?
Oh, hot all day. I hate being cold. It's the worst experience ever. I don't cold plunge. All these guys are out here like go cold plunge. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna hot plunge in the sauna.
Yep, me too. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Right here in Las Vegas. I've traveled the world. I've lived all over. I've been to most places that I've ever wanted to go to and will continue to do that. But they say home is where the heart is, right? And I have an amazing community here, phenomenal friends, unbelievable lifestyle. And when I wake up in the morning, I just love that I get to be in a city that I enjoy. And so here, this is where I choose to be.
Hmm, nice. What wastes the most time in your day-to-day life?
Um, here's the thing. So that's actually a really great question. Um, I my first mentor, I'll tell you a quick story. So my first mentor when I was 28 years old was a guy named Brendan Burchard. And Brendan is a high performance coach. He's one of the leading coaches in the world. If you talk about personal development, if you talk about the industry that I'm in, everybody knows Brendan. And there was something that I learned from him very young, relatively young anyway, that impacted my life for the better. And he said, control your calendar and control your life. And it took me a really long time to be able to not only wrap my head around that, but to leverage that teaching and bring it into my life. And today, my calendar is my best friend. And so I don't, generally speaking, waste a lot of time. Like, from the moment I wake up till the moment I go to bed, my life is pretty planned. I mean, even, waking up very early this morning to go into doing a public speaking event, to hopping on this show, to right after this doing something else, and I've automated my life in a lot of ways so that there's not time wasted. I mean, and what I mean by that is even to the point, and it's taken me a long time to get here to be able to do this, but, like, to the point where I have food delivery and I have a housekeeper and somebody who cleans my truck and, outside of the one thing that I do, which is my own laundry, because I don't like when my clothes shrink, because I'm a big guy, and so if they shrink, I can't wear them anymore. Um, but outside of that, it's like, I don't waste a lot of time, and it's beautiful because I used to waste all the time.
Hmm, yes, of course. If you could host a talk show, who would you have on?
I kinda do, I mean, that's the podcast. We've interviewed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. I've done over 750 episodes. We've been doing that show for about 6, almost 7 years now. Um, I have a list. Every month, we're updating that list of the people we wanna interview. Um, and to me, it's really about having a lot of open conversation with people I do know and people I don't know, and getting into the human experience about what makes them tick. I would say probably what comes to mind is if I one person I really want to interview right now, would probably be Eric Thomas. He's known as ET, the hip hop preacher. And that's a guy I've been lucky enough to speak at a couple of events with over the years, but I've never had him sit down on the mic with me. And so that would be a guy that I'd love to interview.
Hmm, very good, very good. What was the funniest moment you've had?
Dude, life is funny. I mean, life is funny. You look at it and this whole experience is crazy. The fact that we're even doing this right now is ridiculous. You know what I mean? You look at life and it's just this series of unravelings and weird events and circumstances and moments that lead us to this. And yeah, I mean, I should be dead or in jail. Like, I'm on bonus time right now, you know what I mean? And so it's like every single day and all the things that I get to do with my life, I have tremendous amount of gratitude, and I sometimes cannot help but laugh because it's so crazy that my life is what my life is.
Wow, interesting. Would you rather be transported 500 years into the future or 500 years into the past?
Oh, 100% the future. Man, give me the flying cars and the robots and the implants and the robot bodies, pills at our dinner. Give me all that, man. Assuming and hopefully hoping that it doesn't become some Orwellian dystopian future in which we all are, which we probably will be under the thumb of law. Um, we already know what happened in the past. It's not that exciting. right? So I want to see what's next.
Yeah, me too. A future like that is absolutely a nightmare.
Yeah, agreed.
If your mind was an island, what would it look like?
I like these. You're really making me think about these. This is interesting. Um, it would definitely have a mansion on it with a helipad and a bunch of boats and a bunch of people to support the businesses, and it would be beautiful and sunny and warm every day, and my friends and family would hang out with me, and we would just barbecue and have great conversations and laugh and do cool shit. It would just be a awesome place to just hang out.
Oh, yes, that's the stuff. Well, what was the furthest you have ever traveled?
Oh, I've been around the world and back again, so when I was, I guess, how old was I? 31. I bought a one-way ticket to Thailand, and that was like a 36-hour flight, like travel day. It was crazy. It was exhausting. Um, and yeah, that was such an incredible experience too, because it really put me into a lot of discomfort, and I believe that discomfort is how you grow.
Yes, couldn't agree more. Have you ever met someone famous?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know many famous people, but fame is, I don't know, man. Fame is like subjective, because like I'll go to like the airport. I've been in the airport in the bathroom and someone comes up to me and they're like, "Hey, are you Michael?" Or at a basketball game or a hockey event or really anything, you know what I mean? And so, you know, I I know people. I have numbers in my phone of famous people, but it's subjective, man. And I think fame is this weird fleeting idea. You go look at people whose names that don't exist anymore, and it's like, what is fame? Does it even matter? So I don't know. Interesting question, but yeah, the short answer is yes.
Very good. If you had to choose between skydiving, bungee jumping, or scuba diving, which one would you choose?
Since I have to choose, if I didn't have to choose, I do neither of the three, or none of the three, I should say. But if I had to choose, probably scuba diving.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing.
Yeah, I don't care for jumping out of an airplane, and the number of injuries involved with bungee jumping makes it seem like a dumb idea.
Yeah, I could say that. If you could see one movie again for the first time, what would it be?
Hmm. I'm gonna give you two again. Because I actually think about this a lot. This is a question that goes through my mind all the time. Um, The Matrix, seeing that for the first time again, because that movie changed my life when I was a kid. I watched that movie and I was like, oh shit, we are in the Matrix. Like, this is a real thing, right? And then there's a film called No Country for Old Men. And I've never felt like I was in such an intense experience as seeing that movie. And it's those two are you could flip a coin for me about those being my favorite films of all time. So those.
Hmm, all right then. What is the one thing you can't live without?
Oxygen.
That's a good one. Have you heard of a drink called banana friche?
No, I don't think so actually.
That's all right. I get that from a lot of people. If someone wrote a book about you, what do you think its title would be?
Someone did, and that someone is me, and it's called Think Unbroken.
Ah, all right then. If you were chosen to colonize a new habitable planet, would you take it?
Hmm. Ask me the question again.
If you were chosen to if you were chosen to colonize a new habitable planet, would you take it?
Yeah, I'm a good leader. I would do that.
Oh, all right then. Sounds good. If you could travel back in time, what decade would you want to live in?
Um, the 70s, the 1970s. Um, this is probably a like a nature versus nurture kind of answer, but growing up, my mom, the one thing that I really got from her was her love for classic rock music, and so I love bands like Journey and Queen and I mean the list goes on. I mean I could name like so many bands right now, and to go to those concerts and see those bands like Aerosmith and Fleetwood Mac and a lot of those guys, Casey and the Sunshine Band, like that'd be so cool. I would do it for the music. Like for sure I'd do it for the music.
Okay, fabulous. Have you ever thought about living off the grid?
All the time. Yeah. Our I interviewed this woman named Anna Lemke. She is a researcher. She wrote a book called Dopamine Nation. And it's about how addicted to everything we are. And even in my life, I catch myself just kind of like addicted to like random things that don't actually bring any value to my life. And so to be off the grid, like to get rid of the cell phone, get rid of the car, and just live a human experience, like I think that would be really incredible.
Yeah, cool. Is there a song that you think is 10 out of 10, yet hardly anyone has heard of it?
Oh God, I mean, shit, dude. There's a bazillion songs. Mm, yeah, I mean, there's just so many songs. I don't know. Um, Nothing particular comes to mind. Actually, there's a great song that I love. It's called 23. It's by a band called Jimmy Eat World. Um, or I think there's another song that comes to mind um, by Meek Mill called Dreams and Nightmares. So those songs.
Ah, all right then. If life was a game, like most people would say, what are some of the rules?
Think good thoughts, speak good words, do good deeds.
I like that. If you were given 500 acres of land, what would you use that land for?
Um, I don't know. My gut tells me I would build a retreat, a self-sustaining retreat, to feed people, to house people, to help people. That feels right.
Okay, I like that. What has been the most stressful situation you've been in?
My entire childhood.
Yeah, I feel you. What's the most comfortable piece of clothing you own?
Um, Probably the jacket I'm wearing right now. It's just this beautiful handmade cotton jacket that I got, and I wear it all the time.
Ah, I like that. What's your favorite season?
Summer.
Ah. I'm a summer guy too. Would you rather be really tall or really short?
Um, Definitely really tall, exactly how I am right now.
Yes. All the benefits of being tall.
Yes.
What's your favorite thing about the area that you live in?
My friends, just my people.
Ah, yes. Very good. What's the most useful thing you own?
This microphone right here.
Yep, I can actually see that makes a lot of sense. Have you met any interesting people lately?
Every day, even right now. I mean, this is the joy of getting to connect with people in this world.
Great. What flavor of ice cream do you wish existed?
Um, I don't know. I don't really care for ice cream, so none, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough. I respect your decision. What is your favorite life hack?
Hmm. Asking for help.
Okay, cool, cool. What is the best way to travel?
First class.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever experienced something supernatural?
Yeah, I have. Uh, a a few times actually. Yeah.
Okay. If you could convince everyone in the world to do one thing at one point in time, what would that thing be?
To go look in the mirror and deal with what is in the reflection.
Dang, that's deep. I like that.
Mm.
What do you want to do if you were if you given the news that you have like 6 months left to live, what would you do with that time you have left?
Honestly, probably just the same thing I do now. Just keep making, keep building, keep traveling, keep spending time with my friends.
Great. Love to hear that. And that is all we have for this episode. It was great having you on, Michael, talking about your childhood and the things you went through and the help that you give to people. That has been amazing.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
You're welcome. And until next time, stay opinionated.